Got some storage. Got two 2 terabyte WD Blues, 1 terabyte 970 Pro for the main system drive. $64 gigs of DDR3200 G-Skill. Got our Threadripper 3970X. EVGA 2080 Ti, and it's all going to be installed with this beautiful designator from Gigabyte. So first things first, let's get the motherboard open. Yeah, I've got a bunch of cooling. Got a SP3 TR4 U14S. Be a good time. Bunch of fans to replace the 140s in the S2 Meshify C, and a Seasonic 1300 watt gold PSU. So it's kind of a little bit of an odd angle to have all that at. Let me see if I can't. Well, I can't really move that camera, but let's see. See if I can make this angle better, maybe. Does that make it better-ish? I don't know. But it's going to open everything out on the test bench. Get all the components out. Matt is grounded, of course. Fun times. Wow. That is a heavy girl there. Realize all my fans were in the way there. That's better-ish, right? She is pretty. Let's see what all comes in the box here with this Gigabyte machine. This Gigabyte motherboard. I mean, that is just a nice carrier for that motherboard. That is super, super slick. I like that. Let's see here. The installation guide, I usually don't have the pinouts on this for the motherboard. And of course, yes, no pinouts in that. We've got the manual and a CD. Of course, those are super useful nowadays. No idea why they do that, but this is what I really need right here, is the pinouts for the motherboard for hooking all that good stuff up, for all the front I/O and all that stuff. This is a cool thing. This is either the 10 gigabit Ethernet or the M.2 that comes with it, and this is the Oh wow, this is the Thunderbolt card that it comes with, which is a pretty slick add-on. Put that back in here for now. We have all of our cables and everything. Sometimes Gigabyte has a whatchamajigger, yeah, one of these. Yeah, Gigabyte's good on their higher end boards. They sometimes ship off this like little guy here, and it's for all your front I/O. You just plug it into it, and then it slots into the motherboard very handily. So I guess put to the side for now. A lot of other cables, Wi-Fi adapter. Of course, you probably can't see any of this, but it's okay. It's just a boring box for now. There we go. That's money right there. That is very beautiful. Team up, fight on, it says. That is awesome. That is killer. Yeah, this motherboard is massive. Looking to see if there were instructions for this add-on card here. You never know. Don't care about all that, or this, or that. Don't care about most of this. Why isn't it telling me what I want to know? Are you just, am I just gonna have to just Google this, I guess? Anyways. Wow. I'm pretty sure this is the, yeah. Aorus Master M.2. So this is a M.2 PCIe expansion card that when you go to add more M.2s down the road, you just take these screws off of here, pop it off, put your M.2s in there. It's just awesome that it comes with it. So that way you don't have to rip into the motherboard down the road and try to do it that way. Just easier for the end user. They want to add M.2s down the road. You don't have to take anything off the motherboard or do any of that kind of garbage. You can just pop right on into it and get it done. I like it. I've never personally owned a motherboard that fancy, but now after seeing it, it makes me want to own a motherboard this fancy now. I ain't gonna lie. All right. That big massive box out of the way. Let's see here. So we can do a couple of things first. Usually go and install M.2s and CPUs first. So I'm gonna go that route. 5 terabytes of M.2 SSD storage, which is fantastic. That's the perfect amount, if you ask me. Right. I mean, don't all systems you buy come with malware preloaded, right? I mean, how else am I supposed to make money off of you once you have the machine? I mean, they've got to turn you into a cash cow somehow. Whew. Man, if you guys just knew the difference between, you know, the packaging that Threadripper comes in. I mean, it used to come in a different case. The previous Threadripper came in a case that looked like this, which I still have because that is just, I mean, 100% just awesome packaging. It looked like it was like in the side of a mountain or something. It's just freaking cool. But the new packaging is awesome as well. They were like, we don't need that much foam anymore, do we? But yeah, I have seen a bazillion people. This is my first this gen Threadripper. There's a robot making noise over there. So we'll see if I botch this as bad as everyone else does when they open these packages. Awesome. It was like a little unlocky guy. That's so awesome. Like the CPU comes with its own like locking mechanism to keep it in there. That's phenomenal. And then there's the CPU. So let's get the mounting surface ready for it. Comes with this fancy boy here. It's a little screwdriver, and it has it's torqued to a specific Newton meter or pound feet of torque. I don't know what it is, but it will not let you over torque the bolts, which is good. A big old sticker in there in case you want your computer to go faster. And then this is awesome. Like once you get the CPU in, it has its own custom CPU mount that goes with it, and then it has, because I'm a car nerd too, but it has like firing order. Like you screw this one, and you screw this one, and you screw this one, and screw this one. That's pretty awesome. It even tells you here on the face of the motherboard. I don't know how well you can see that, but it says close. You do 1, 2, 3. So they're labeled. They're 1, 2, 3. So pretty awesome. Very nifty. Slide out the external cap before sliding in the carrier frame with CPU. Open 3, 2, 1. Boop. Frame comes up. That pops out. This frame comes out. And this is the part that you never want to touch or drop anything on, because it will ruin the machine. So beautiful CPU there. Comes in a neat little carrier frame here. I'm gonna slide it into the new one. just like that. It goes down on there like that. And then we close it in the direct opposite order. So we close one. Two. Three. You see that how that popped like that was the very cool torque hex head on it. Such a freaking cool way to install a CPU, I'm not gonna lie. It does make installing lower end CPUs just look like I'm in some sort of like just pleb world after that. It's just so absolutely satisfying to put one of those in. But I am going to need thermal paste for this, and it is upstairs. But I'm going to get everything else installed on it right now, and then go and grab that. I don't know if I have some thermal paste down here, because I had to buy a whole new big thing of it. So I bet it's upstairs. But anyways, cool AF processor mounting. Love it. Love mounting Threadrippers. Like one of my favorite CPUs to put onto anything. Coolest packaging. I mean, even when you're done with it, like behind the CPU, it's in gold and says Threadripper. I mean, that is just so neat. There isn't such a thing that you could, have this on display. I just love it. Absolutely. Good stuff. Still got my nice Gamers Nexus toolkit. Love this thing. I didn't have a good set of screwdrivers for computers, and father-in-law got it for me for Christmas, and it has been amazing. So I'm going to take off the M.2 shield right now from the motherboard. We're going to install our storage now. Take that little guy off there. We've got a thermal interface pad there. Small little screw. See how many we got behind all of this. Got a third one here. Well, that has a double in there, so I'll probably put the two WD Blues on this bottom area here, and then put the one Samsung up in the top slot. I just like those heat sinks better. They feel more metalistic. Metaler. They're more metaler than the other ones, if that's a word. I mean, that is it just trips me out that's having built computers now for the last 20 years. This is 2 terabytes of storage on what looks like a smaller than a pack of gum. It's completely crazy. Yeah, the M.2 has a little notch on the top of it, which I can show you that. The notch here on the top of it, that a screw goes down and there's a corresponding standoffs on the motherboard. And so that in there just slots in kind of like a PCI card or other expansion slot card would on your computer. And then a little screw in it, it holds it in and makes contact. The best ever. So I think that I have another 2 screws probably in the motherboard case on the motherboard for these M.2s. If not, I think I have a bag of M.2s somewhere. M.2 screws. Boop and then boop. Let me check the box. Way down here. Got some more screws in here. Don't mind me, I'm just on the floor. Let's see here. There's one M.2 screw there. And then a second M.2 screw right there. I think those are both M.2 screws. Yep. 2 more M.2 screws. Perfect. Small screw. I hate single-use plastic. But when you think of it, they just put all the screws into a container or something. Like what I'd like to see is like a motherboard manufacturer like ship a like reusable like little container guy, kind of like how, you know, the CPU comes in this like awesome little doodad. Like, why don't motherboard manufacturers like just make a little box, and then instead of having a bag that has 1 screw in it, right, you could have a little box like this size here, and then just have all of your screws in it for your motherboard, and then you get the motherboard, you open it up, and then you use them, and then, you know, especially when you're buying a motherboard like this, like, it's not like this is some $80 motherboard off the shelf. This is a very nice piece of kit, and, you know, all that single-use plastic, you can do better to Gigabyte, I promise you. Fancy Samsung packaging for our 3rd M.2 drive. I'm going to have to move it. I don't think I have. I have to get the other adapter for it to move that mounting point closer, which again is in more single-use plastic. So 3 plastic bags for 3 screws. That's the best. Really it is. Boop. Boop. Screws. All right. Perfect. Awesome. There we go, all that packaging. So much packaging. Much excite. All right. Go ahead and get these guys and put back on. Like I won't need you. Didn't end up using the middle one. Did use the top one. Peel that protective film off the back. Slot its little tail into there. There we go. And in you go. All right. Peel some more off. Slot you in. Two DIM.2s under those one big heat sink. It's good stuff. Ah, that is crafty. Okay, I see what they did with this mounting. You don't actually need a screw in this one, because on this one, this is the screw for it. Cool. I think I can do that. Gonna watch some movie magic here, guys. There we go. I think that makes more sense for what I'm doing. It's always fun to watch those little boxes flying around. Extra screw. Extra trash. All of the trash. All right. Yeah, it's got some feedback saying that it's a little easier to have it this way instead of me being the big face and what I'm doing being the small thing. So I'm gonna do it that way. All right. Break into the heatsink now. Heatsink / fan combo. Boop. Yeah, I might also next time do something different with the camera. I think the other camera has a better angle, but I'll figure out the camera angle some other time. I love Noctua's packaging, by the way. Love all their stuff that they do. One of the requests for this build was it to be, low on, easier to maintain than a custom water loop or even an all-in-one. And tower cooler from Noctua definitely fits that build. We are going to black this out though. I'm going to change the fan out on this, and then I got a Chromax to block this out, which will make it look super fancy. So I think that'll be pretty cool. It'll make it look very fancy. Try to get, there we go. I think that's a good angle, good enough angle. It's awesome. With this, got my Noctua mounting hardware stuff here. Well, that's different. I'm used to this being a screwdriver from Noctua, but it looks like these are, hex keys in there. Okay. Fair enough. Awesome. Cool. Extra rubber fan mounts. All that stuff. We've got all the Noctua goodies here. Case badge. I don't think anyone ever uses those. Clips for an additional fan if we were going that route. Fan extension, and then some thermal paste. So let's get into our replacement hardware for the fan. And so this will black out this silver plate on the, well, I can't see that, can you? So this kit here will black out the silver part here of the Noctua, and just allow it just to look nice in the side of the case window, basically. And of course a blacked out fan, because who wants a brown fan? I don't know anyone that wants a brown fan. Yeah. So I'll take this one off. Replace it. It's not to a boop. Boom. So this here is going to go like so. Cool, yeah, plenty of clearance. That's beautiful. It's gonna be nice. Awesome. to be pushing this way, and then there'll be a case fan here on the outside, which will then draw air as it pushes through. I'm pretty sure we don't need a second one of these. I think it's going to do just fine, cooling everything off. So got all these little handy anti-vibration pads that it comes with that are also colored, which is a lot of fun. I think I'm just going to stick with black. It is my favorite color. Just like those old quiet fan mounting kits that they used to sell. So they used to sell, or you used to get these little rubber guys that you could, instead of screwing your fans into your case, you had these like little longy rubber guys that resemble these guys here, but were super long, and you could pull them through your fan, through the case fan mounting holes, and then yeah, mount your fans with those screws so it would help with vibration. But this is equally as cool, so you can change out the color if you want to. Right? Turbo intercooler, right? Yes, Noctua makes beautiful stuff. You know, that is probably a really good crossover that my brain immediately thought of was, you know, why doesn't a cooler manufacturer that has all of this experience with it make some car parts? I mean, right? I mean, they're making all sorts of other technology that are in cars, the operating systems, the CPUs that are in them, all that kind of jazz. I'm sure there's some machining prowess in between both of those worlds that make a lot of sense. Ooh, my music has stopped. And then my vector is moving about. I don't know if you can see him back here, but he doesn't have a lot of space right now because I haven't figured out where I'm going to put him, but gets himself caught up in wires there quite a bit. Hey, Vector. Hey, Vector. Go to sleep. All right. Boop. Boop and boop. Cool. Get the fan onto the heatsink. Cool. Love it when things just work as they should, without any extra stress. Beautiful. So now we're gonna prep. I don't have to clean any heatsink material off there because it's, well, it's from the factory, but I will prep it before putting other stuff on there. So this stuff from Arctic Silver, I've used it for forever. So make sure that my surfaces are clean. Like this, you can see, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there is quite a bit of like cruft on there. So yeah, you do have to clean these things off. I had just taken the plastic off of this, so you don't want those extra bits on everything. Just make sure that CPU surface is prepped. And then now we will put the heatsink on. Boop. So this thing is made for TRX boards. Oh yeah, I am going to have to temporarily pop the sides of the fan off, but that's okay. Start screw one. Yeah. Start screw two. Start U. And then start U. There we go, and then this had an order preference to tightening. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one here, I don't know if you can see that or not, but that is some super tight stuff in there to get this in here. I mean, that is, I guess that's why you have your beveled head there, kind of like some hex stuff that you get when you go to work on your car. So we're gonna, like I said, we're following this firing order here. It's printed on the original retention bracket that ships with it in case you're going to use a cooler that clips into there. We are not. So there's one. Here's two. And then three. And then four. Cool. Revisit each of them, make sure they're all snug and snug. Oh yeah, dude. How did you not know that? I mean legitimately. I mean, I only can't like shut up about it half of the time. But this is a fun system to put together. I ain't gonna lie. Oh, let me just hit the camera with my head. That'll be fine, right? So measure twice, cut once, right? All right, so we can pop the memory in now. Clear off some of the mounting materials and stuff that came with everything. Yeah, man, there's so many cool options right now, and sure, like there's kind of a bit of a war going on in the building space, but yeah, it's never a terrible time to build. I don't know if you can see this guy up there. That is my original DFI board that I had before my expert board that I built my first water-cooled system with. I have another one of my old 939 boards hanging out somewhere in the old quad bridge SLI. I mean, you know, a 4770K, not bad. I mean, for a cheap, easy fix, you could just pop a new CPU in there. I mean, this one behind me here that's running the stream is my old computer that I had. I have an AM4 3900X upstairs with a Radeon VII. You can see it on my Instagram. You find Elite X Computing on Instagram. There's pictures of it. But this guy here behind me is an 8700K and a 1080 Ti, and I tell you, I felt that it was very, very appropriate. Yeah. I mean, just get a 9900K and put it in it. I mean, well, I guess you couldn't put a 9900K in it. Yeah, you can't do that, but yeah, if you like Intel, just build a 9900K system if you're just gonna game with it. But if you're going to do anything else other than game, buy an AMD. Yeah, they are. Yeah, I had to squint and read the text that's down there, but yeah. Get all the memory out now. All 4 sticks, 64 gigs, which is plenty of memory. Plenty of memory. Yeah, I don't want to say his name on stream, but this is a build for a coworker of ours. I think if you look, I'm not sure if that's one of the names in chat here, but it's one of, I think they're in chat, so if they want to raise their hand, they can. Let's see. Nothing's marked on this for install order for memory preference. Got A, B, C, and a D. Let's see here. Yes, yes, yes. Boop. Okay. So channel A, B, C, and D. So we got 4 modules. So D2, C2, A2, and B2. So D2, which is the outer side here. D2, C2, A2, and B2. Ah, I'm incognito. Yeah, no. Cool, man. Yeah, throw me a subscription if you want to. That would be awesome. I'd be okay with that. Then you can get little alerts and stuff, and I have other content that I need to do stuff with, but I generally, when I'm doing any build like this, I generally try to stream it. I like giving that sort of transparency to everything. I want people to be able to see what's going on, to see the process. You know, there's no sense in hiding any of it. None of it's like some sort of, you know, cryptic, esoteric way of doing things. Everyone has their own process and way of doing things in order, but there's no right or wrong way. I mean, unless you're just like legitimately installing hardware wrong. There's not a whole lot of wrong ways to do this. Yeah. Hey, cool, man. That was awesome. Thank you. So, got all that done. That's a good time. So this is the little blackout guy here for it. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, there it is. That is a super fancy piece of kit there. Hey, you too, man. Don't be a stranger. I do this on the evenings a lot, and so yeah, come on by. Cool. Cool. There's that boy, and then those are magnets. Okay. Ah, there we go. That's a nice sound. Awesome. That is beautiful. Seriously. Then what we're gonna do is get power over here. Get all these spare parts out of the way. I've got my testing power supply down here. Swap out my current test bench power supply with the one that's in your box, so I can go ahead and test the power supply at the same time as well. So move this little paltry 850 watt power supply out of the way and get the big daddy over here up here on there. Get it going on, which will be nice. Get this guy on there. The weight of these components cannot be understated. I mean, when I was carrying up the power supply, I realized that the power supply and the GPU together weighed more than the case. Which is just astounding. Yeah, Seasonic. I love Seasonic as a brand. You know, I don't know if they still come in them, but you remember Crown Royal always came in the bag? That plush velvet bag, right? Crown Royal always came in it. Seasonic power supplies come in like a plush velvet bag, which is super handy to have, honestly. Like my Antec power supply came in a little bag and it didn't close or anything, so it's kind of impossible. But here she is. She is a beautiful piece of kit. I'm very excited about this. Love power supplies. These things are also ridiculously out of stock everywhere. I think I had 2 or 3 different ones picked out at different times for this particular build, and each time I had to go back and find another one and add it to my cart when I was part shopping because they just weren't there anymore. It was ridiculous. Another bag here full of Seasonic stuff. More Seasonic. Never skimp on a power supply. Never, ever, ever skimp on your power supply. That is the one rule of thumb. Like seriously, like if you're gonna build a machine and you don't have a whole lot of money, do not buy a cheap, no-name power supply. Just don't do it. Buy a good power supply. Like, it's cheesy, but Seasonic has their marketing motto is the heart of your system. They say it in this, like, you know, deep, markety kind of voice. But, you know, in all honesty, it is. Like, if you don't have good, clean rails and power coming into your computer, what are you even doing? And back when Hard OCP was a site, RIP, he's like some kind of Intel marketing guru guy now. I don't know what he's doing for him, but he's off doing his own thing now. Power supply testing was something that I always liked. Right, yeah. Like the 2 things you always want to have: quality power supply and a UPS. But so before I move much further on this build, make sure that I have everything grounded right. My mat is grounded, the computer is now grounded, I am grounded, the earth is ground, ground is ground. Find my CPU cable. Here's one. Yeah, the computer down here is on a battery. My computer upstairs is on a battery. Batteries. Like, my network's on another battery over there. This is all on a battery over here. Got more batteries on the floor over there. Some friends of ours have batteries in their garage for their houses. Battery nerds. I have been converting all of the batteries in my house over to Inteloops because I'm sick of A, buying batteries, and B, having to have battery waste. On top of that, it's just, you know, I'm already like, have all this electronic stuff sitting around. Battery waste is just it doesn't make sense in the year 2020. Like, Inteloops exist. They're not as expensive as they used to be. They are amazing batteries for all of your controllers and everything else that run on AA or AAA. But I also got C and D battery converters for the AA's, and I use them in my some of my larger flashlights, and they work. It's awesome. There is not a single problem with any of that. All right, so the next thing we're going to dig into here, now that we have the core of everything put down, I'm going to get into, I'm going to need 2 PCIEs, right? PCIe. I wish that they had, so that's a double, that's a double. That's a double. They're all doubles, they're all doubles. I wish that for once they would just give us, you know, some singles. Some single PCIe connectors. That way I don't have like that extra loop of cord. because I'm not going to run a 2080 Ti on one PCIe connector with the extender on it. It's not, my gut tells me not to do it, so I'm not going to do it. Just going to open this beauty now. This beauty. Yeah. EVGA XC Ultra 2080 Ti. What a beautiful graphics card. If I get NVIDIA cards, I only get EVGA. Wait, I take that back. I have a used Gigabyte in my Plex server. So fancy, Gigabyte, so fancy. What do we have in here? What is this? Oh wow, that is a DVI to HDMI, I guess that is. That's hilarity. Take this big bad boy out of the foam. That's a big boy here. Get him out. Beautifulness. Ooh, look at that noise. Hear that? I always take these off. I know that they probably won't melt, but this is part of my brain always goes, take them off of the GPU, they will melt, and I don't think they ever will, but my brain is still like, nah brah, don't do it. So I think these are, so that's an 8X, that's an 8X, this is a 16X down here. So I can either put it on the bottom slot or to the top slot. So either here, for an aesthetic reason, or here. I think I'll just put it in the top slot. It's generally a pretty well accepted place to put a GPU. This is the second time that you'll need the box after getting everything out, that you will need it. Put the machine on top of. So that your graphics card can seat properly. Because without that, it's just going to go into outer space, basically. Well, the card won't mount all the way. So we'll get it out of the case like this, fire it up, take some more plastic off of it. There's so much on everything. So satisfying. And the funny thing is there wasn't any on any of this. Usually there's plastic coverings on other parts of it, but not on this guy, interestingly enough. And a lot of times, I don't know, can't see it in either of the cameras, not very well, but they usually have little stoppers in the end of all of the additional outputs, but not on this guy. We're going to get our first boot out of it here in a second. Then I'm gonna need my Windows USB drive, and then we'll start installing stuff. Make sure all the BIOS settings are correct. All right. That is all that. So now what I'm missing is video signal into the HDMI, and then yep, I got power to it. Cool. All right. Lights. No explosion. And then I like this about this motherboard. All high-end motherboards have this. But then even like back in this time here in 2003 or 4 or whatever, we had power and reset buttons, but a lot of modern motherboards don't have them, which my brain just explodes. That's first boot, man. Let's see what we got here. I just pulled so much power it made my UPS blink. I might move it. Going through all the codes. Yeah, these Threadrippers take a long time to boot, FYI. Yeah, that's my UPS. See, I'm back. See, not all was lost. It was just on a much smaller UPS than it should have been on. It was on a bibby one. What's wrong? Why aren't you connecting? want my music back. Anyways, stream's back. I accidentally had the wasn't a problem before, but I had the Threadripper plugged into the UPS that my network stuff was connected to, and it had a very slightly small heart attack. So, which is fine. There's a lot of power here, and I had it on just the wrong UPS, and not a big deal. But yeah, exciting times. Your house will be fine. Almost guaranteed. The UPC that I have down here that's running the 8700K as well. It's just an APC backup battery. It's their Backups Network 40. So it's okay. Gonna get some music started again because I can't work without music. It's just not in my dinner. Why is it connecting to my Google? Why aren't you doing a thing? I'm gonna reboot it. I don't, unfortunately. Yeah, no, the UPS 40 is not a big UPS that it's on now. So I should have a kilowatt. I just haven't had to need it yet. So let's see if it pulls this power supply down. I mean, if it does, you can't see it, but I have a huge one on the floor over here. So they go through red steel. Saw the gigabyte screen. There it is. Please reconfigure BIOS setup if needed. Thanks. Thanks, Gigabyte. I'm gonna use your very nice velvet guy here as a mouse pad. I thought it was. All right, I'm gonna turn on XMP profile 1. All your memory is showing up. I don't know if everything's good. All 4 memory modules are showing up. Missing one of your M.2s down there in the second slot, so we'll power off and see what we got going on down there. Everything spins very nicely. It's very pretty. All right, I'm gonna boot it now. Only one M.2 down there. It's a nice sound. Smells good.
Having trouble connecting to the internet. For help, go to your device's companion app.
That is my vector robot. He is upset because he cannot connect to the internet. There we go. Yay, music again. Hello. How are you? Are you making food? What?
What do you want?
We're having hot dogs, baked beans, right?
Hot dogs. Can you baked beans?
That would be great. Yeah.
What else?
I'm good with that. I'll make mine into beanie weenies. You know, because why not? I had it hooked up into the smaller UPS over here that backs up all the network stuff, and I haven't had a problem with running the other power supply. It's an 850 watt doing all the other builds that I do here normally. Because remember last time I did the other Threadripper, I did it upstairs, and he's just grabs his block and throws it around like he's crazy. And so I had it plugged into the other UPS, and then as soon as this machine hit load on it, I don't know if you heard the beep, but the battery was like, nope. And then I, tried to move it, and in doing so, I hit the power button on it, which hit the network, and the network went down for like however long. But that was okay because I had to go and get a keyboard and mouse and stuff so I can hit this. So wasn't a big deal. All right.
Hot dogs and baked beans.
Awesome. I love it. All right. So that the left M.2 works. Slot this right one back in. I mean, it could have been because of the way this mounting mechanism is. I slid it or whatever a little bit too much. So, okay, so left one works. Yeah, if I smell burning right now, I wouldn't know that it would be things cooking. So we're having hot dogs and baked beans tonight. I am going to make my hot dogs and baked beans into beanie weenies. All right, let's see if your M.2s are showing up this time. My robot is having a small fit behind me. Yeah, I can hear you, yeah. All right. No, it's still only that one showing up. So let's roll out the SATA being bad. Let's do some swipper swapping. Wow, really? Did you leave the... You left your brother on there. How am I going to get that off there now? Yeah, the M.2 adapter guy just decided to get stuck there. Gonna need a smaller doodad for that. I know lots of technical terms here being thrown around. Doodad, etc. Anyways, I'm going to take out the one that is showing up as working and boot and see if now the right one shows up. That thing just stuck right onto it. Hate M.2 screws. All right, so it's not that. So let me see if you're... I don't have such a tiny socket for that. You're too big. You're too big. I'm gonna have to go and get a pair of needle nose and pop that off of there. M.2, see, this is stuff that you never see. Like most people when they build a computer or you see a thing on YouTube, it's just like, everything's magic and goes together. Well, because 90% of the time they'll go and build everything outside of the case and then fit it everything, and then they take it all back apart and then they build it in front of you, and it's like Hollywood magic. You know, they don't show these things where stupid things like this, like, I don't know if you can see or not, but there's this guy here, which went through the top of this here, right? And into this boy, came out. And now there's this stuck between the M.2 and that. So I just need to get my pair of needle nose and just, 'cause I don't think I have a socket that can fit in between the edge of the M.2 SSD and what's there. So I'm gonna go and get my needle nose so I can twist that off. I'll be right back. Boo. I didn't find my needle nose, but I did find this little tiny guy here. Here we go. Just had to turn it just like a little extra there. I mean, that is crazy that this is two separate parts. Like, I'm a little baffled by it. That this little guy, because this is the M.2 screw, and this one's like a shorter, fatter one that goes in this other piece that was on this thing. I'm just so... My brain is just not currently braining right now about it. But anyways, go swap sides with it. Install it into the left-hand side M.2. And then boot it. Because if it's just the slot not playing fair, then we'll find out. I hate that when I get some kind of an arm that's more stable for this kind of work. She's a beautiful computer. She's very pretty. Okay, yeah, so it does show up, and so the SSD is not bad. So that's a good thing. So I think I'm gonna have to use, so let me shut down now. Have this other just normal SSD M.2 screw here. I'm gonna put it on. Boot me again, see if I have both 2 terabytes showing up now. I mean, right? It's pretty big heatsink that's on there, but yeah, it's as big as my hand. It's a 148 millimeter fan. Have all this done here. Troubleshoot an issue with this right hand M.2 slot not showing storage in it. Still doesn't. So for whatever reason, this one here, it might have to do with the PCIe lanes, etc. It's not showing a drive, so I'm gonna move this SATA up here. Probably in the manual somewhere, it's going to tell me that the way that the PCIe lanes are set up on the M.2 slots and yada yada, that it was never going to work. But all these boards have limitations to what PCI can go where, etc. So I know the SSD works. So I know that's not my problem. Should have been here for the CPU install, because then you see how big the CPU is that's sitting underneath that fan. It is not small. So I'm pretty positive what I just did fixed my problem. Thing takes forever to boot. Okay, this thing is hard to line up down here, guys. Use your fancy power supply. bag as a mouse pad. Now I remember why I retired this mouse to the basement, because hey-oh, there we go, see? Now all of our SSDs are showing up. All our memory is showing up. CPU is running at 3.7 gigs, which is fine. 64 gigs of RAM. CPU is sitting at 36 degrees C right now. Totally fine. We are going to get Windows on here in a little bit. Yeah, cool. And then, yeah, move on from there. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna take a small break here. I'm going to eat some dinner, because why not? Dinner is delicious. And then I will continue this journey when I'm back from eating dinner. Fun times. Oh yeah. Everything's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and hit this here. Where's the... I mean, that's the CPU at full speed. I don't know if you can even tell, but yeah, you can't even hear the... You barely hear that CPU fan at full speed. Yeah. Cool stuff. I see how this thing works now. It's definitely a different setup here. Yeah, 34 degrees Celsius. 2 degrees above system temp right now. That's pretty good. Pretty good temps. Cool. All right, guys. I'm gonna go grab my Windows install USB. I'll be right back. Then I'll start the Windows install, and then we'll be back in a second. There she is, hanging out. We'll be right back. All right, I'm gonna install Windows next. It's like my old Sans 560 drive there. Boop. Cool. Oh, why is it still disabled? Profile 1. Yes. Cool. Gonna do a Windows install now. There's a way I can get. Look at that, it's like camera reception. See my other camera. We'll put your key on there and stuff later. Those are 2 terabytes. Here's our 1 terabyte Samsung. See how fast your Windows install goes. With 64 gigs of RAM and 32 cores. I bet if I had a faster USB drive, it'd go faster. Take that robot upstairs. It's just a trifling robot. Yeah, I need to invest in a faster USB drive, because then Windows installs would just look so much more impressive. Boom. That was your full Windows install. So, I'm not going to show some more of this stuff because, you know, product keys and all that stuff down the line. But, yeah. I'm going to get Windows installed. And I'll bring stuff like 3D Mark online, some burn-in, get some OCCT on here. Thrash the CPU a little bit. Let me get Ethernet plugged in here real quick for you. Then realistically, once the Windows install kicks off, I will more than likely end the stream. Go through setting some stuff up on Windows. Put your key in and all that stuff. I'm gonna go eat some dinner, and then I will be back to finish this up. I've gotta run some stress testing outside of the case, make sure that nothing crazy is going on with it. And when I set this thing up, I turn off all the advertising ID stuff, tailored experience, diagnostic data, location data, all that good stuff. So none of the snoop is on. Cortana is on, because without Cortana, it's really a pain in the butt to search on Windows 10. So just getting everything ready for you. All right. All right. Be back in a little bit.